Hello, I'm John Agar. I am a historian of science and technology at University College London. I've looked at the history of science and technologies, including the history of the mobile phone. And what I would like to talk about today are some things we learn if you look at the history of the mobile phone and think about how technology changes. Now, the cell phone, the idea goes back to the 1940s, so it could have been built then, right? But the phone itself, the first cell phones, they don't come around for 20, 30 years later. In a way, you had to wait for a society that was more individualistic, more flexible, more wanting to do its own thing. Really a society that starts in the sort of 60s and 70s, I think, before you have someone who says, yeah, there's a market for a cell phone, let's start building it now. The idea is not enough. That's one of the lessons. Just having the idea, and even being able to do it is not enough. You have to wait for a society that wants it. Mobile phones are universal machines, they're little computers, but they're also deeply personalised. I mean, you have your phone set up to do the things that you want to do. And actually that's connected, right? You couldn't have a machine that was so adaptable, that could be adaptable to you, if it wasn't so flexible like it was a universal machine. So these things go together. But they're very relevant to you, aren't they? If you think about what you use them for, well, you have your social media there, you're checking, and you have your web settings on there. Maybe this is what's going to project into the future. Maybe these devices are going to become more and more a personalised helper for you. The software for understanding wants and needs, well, that's something which is getting more sophisticated. Now you can imagine those being built into mobile phones. Having said that, it's extremely difficult to predict future uses of technology. One of the things that is very interesting as a historian of technology is to say, well, what can you learn? If you look at all kinds of technologies over the centuries, are there any general patterns, any general truths about how technologies change? And actually one of the few ones that you can pick out is don't trust predictions. Predicting future technology is extremely hard. People looked at all kinds of predictions about where technology was going to go. And they found that in situations where you had a choice, one way or the other, that 1/3 of the time the predictors got it right, 1/3 of the time they got it wrong, 1/3 we didn't know. In other words, it's no better than flipping a coin. And one of the reasons for that is that a new technology is often invented outside of the mainstream. So, for example, for years IBM dominated the computer building industry, right? And then some small companies outside the fold came along with small computers, personal computers. Now that wasn't what IBM were expecting, but that's the computing technology that took over the workplace and our homes and so on. So suddenly you can have a new technology that is invented slightly outside the system. And because that is often the case, you can't see where the next new technology is coming. So even though we're all using iPhones, we're all using smartphones, we're using Nokia, we're using Ericsson, whatever, the next mobile phone revolution may become completely from left field and will catch us unawares, unexpected. So that might happen. Plus it's also another generalization you can make about technologies is it's often not the designers or engineers of a technology who can tell what the final use of it's going to be. So, when radio was invented, people like Marconi envisaged it as a really good, better form of telegraphy. You could send messages from place to place. This time you wouldn't be able to use wires. That's why they called it wireless telegraphy. Yet radio is in fact really good for broadcasting, for letting everyone hear what you're saying. Now they didn't have that in mind. And time again, the new technologies, the designers have shown it to the world, have got certain expectations for it, but it takes off in all kinds of different directions, often discovered by users themselves. So one generalization you can make about how technology changes is that it's not often the designers who decide what a technology is used for, but it's users. Users find the way it's used and the typical way a technology works often. So I'm going to make one prediction about the mobile phone, and that is the trend towards privatisation will continue. Right? This is a device that will become even more your phone. It will anticipate your wants and wishes. It will be relevant to you. The information it carries will be very individualised to you.